There is a system that quietly sits behind every barrel of oil sold on Earth. It inflates what your dollar is worth. It shapes which countries can sell their own oil freely and which ones can't. The dangerous part is, most of the world doesn't even know it exists. Oil is the operating system the modern world runs on. If you've watched our last video, you already know that 21 miles of water, the Strait of Hormuz, feeds roughly a fifth of it to the planet. The other half of the story isn't the oil itself, it's how it's paid for. Every barrel that moves through that strait, every barrel pumped anywhere on Earth, is sold in one specific currency, the US dollar. Not because the world chose it, rather because of an arrangement made in a single afternoon, in 1974, between two governments almost nobody else was told. That arrangement built the system everything else was built on. It's quietly starting to come apart. Quick note, if you want more of this, the systems, not the headlines, hit the subscribe button below. New video every week. Now, to understand 1974, you have to understand what was breaking in 1971. After World War II, the world rebuilt its money on a single anchor. The US dollar was tied to gold. Every other major currency was tied to the dollar. Gold was the foundation. The dollar was the bridge. But the US was printing more dollars than it had gold to back. Foreign governments began redeeming them. The vault was emptying. So, on August 15, 1971, Nixon went on television and ended it. The dollar was no longer convertible into gold, and the bridge was still there, but the foundation was gone. Which left a question nobody had answered. If the dollar isn't backed by gold anymore, what is it backed by? The answer arrived because of a crisis nobody saw coming. In October of 1973, the Arab members of OPEC cut off oil exports to the United States. Within months, the price of crude oil had quadrupled. Gas stations ran dry. The American economy seized. Washington needed two things at once: oil flowing again, while the world kept using its currency, the same currency it had just untethered from gold. So in June 1974, the United States sent a delegation to Riyadh. The terms were straightforward. The US would sell Saudi Arabia advanced military equipment, guarantee the security of the royal family, protect the kingdom from external threats, including, when necessary, its own neighbors. And in exchange, Saudi Arabia would do two things: price every barrel of oil it sold to anyone, anywhere, exclusively in US dollars. Take those dollars and recycle them into the US Treasury bonds. The other OPEC nations followed within months. The dollar gained a new source of demand, not gold, oil. Here's how the system works. This is the entire engine. Step 1. A country, Japan, Germany, India, anyone really, needs oil. To buy oil, that country first has to acquire dollars. The dollar becomes a passport. You cannot enter the oil market without it. Step 2. The oil producer receives those dollars in exchange for the barrels. Step 3. The producer doesn't sit on the cash. Trillions in a vault would lose value to inflation. So the producer takes those dollars, buys US Treasury bonds, which are safe, liquid, and interest-bearing. Step 4. Those bond purchases lower US borrowing costs, which means the US government can spend more on infrastructure, defense, or the military bases that protect the oil shipping lanes that keep the entire loop running. Then it repeats. Leaving the loop becomes extremely expensive. This is the petrodollar system. Every day, hundreds of billions of dollars cycle through these 4 steps. The loop has been running, almost without interruption, for about 50 years. Here's what makes it so powerful. The dollar isn't the world's reserve currency because foreign governments trust it. It's the reserve currency because they're required to hold it, because the system built around it leaves almost no viable alternative. 2 episodes are worth knowing. In November of 2000, Iraq announced it would no longer sell its oil for dollars. It would sell only for euros. For 2.5 years, every barrel of Iraqi oil was sold in a different currency. In March 2003, the United States invaded Iraq. Within weeks of the new government taking control, oil sales reverted back to dollars. In 2009, Muammar Gaddafi proposed a new African currency, a gold-backed dinar, that would settle oil sales across the continent. He spent the next 2 years promoting it to other African heads of state. In 2011, the NATO air campaign ended his government. Oil sales out of Libya resumed in dollars shortly after. We're not telling you what to think about either of those sequences. We're telling you what happened in the order it happened. So why hasn't the rest of the world built an alternative? Countries have been trying for years. Iran sells most of its oil in yuan and rupees today, but the settlement banks moving those currencies still clear through dollar correspondent accounts. The dollar is in the plumbing. It's not just the price tag. Russia sells oil to India for rupees, then sits on tens of billions of them with nothing easy to spend them on. The currency works. The market for it does not. Venezuela tried to price its oil in a state-backed cryptocurrency, and buyers refused. Building an alternative isn't a political problem, it's more of an infrastructure problem. There isn't a true replacement, not yet. But the system didn't stay frozen in 1974. The original loop became the foundation. New layers were built on top of it. Eurodollar funding markets merged offshore, recycling dollars far beyond what the original deal envisioned. Oil future markets became the price-setting mechanism, not physical barrel sales. Deep U.S. capital markets gave dollar holders somewhere to keep their money beyond just treasuries. The United States itself changed. The shale revolution turned America from a major oil importer, the country the recycling loop was originally designed to serve, into one of the world's largest producers and exporters. The system was built when the U.S. needed everyone else's oil. That condition no longer holds. The 1974 Handshake didn't stay the whole system. It became the foundation everything else was built on top of. Here's what's actually happening, not what's being predicted, what's already on the record. In 2023, Saudi Arabia signed an agreement allowing oil sales to China to be settled in yuan. Not all sales, some. The agreement is in writing. Russia and India have been settling roughly half of their bilateral trade in rupees and rubles since 2022. The UAE, the world's seventh largest oil exporter, completed its first yuan-settled LNG sale of China in 2023. The BRICS group added 6 new members between 2024 and 2025, including 3 major oil exporters, with a public commitment to building an alternative settlement infrastructure. None of these moves, individually, breaks the loop. Every one of them does something specific to it. It removes a small flow of dollars from step 1. The loop only works as long as step 1 continues feeding it. The real question isn't when the system collapses. It's what would cause it to weaken. If fewer countries need dollars to buy oil, demand drops. If fewer dollars are recycled, the system tightens. This is not a prediction, it's more of a diagram. The inputs to that diagram are already starting to shift. Remember, this is just the original loop. The modern system has additional layers: eurodollar funding, future markets, deep capital markets. The original structure has to weaken. Those layers have to fragment alongside it. One breaking without the others isn't enough. The system has run for 50 years on one assumption, that other countries will continue to use dollars to buy oil. The variable to watch isn't the dollar, it's the first step. It's that first step, when enough buyers can settle in something else, when the new arrangement actually works, the system doesn't disappear. It just stops being the only loop that matters.
If this gave you a clearer picture of how the world actually works, hit the subscribe button below. We do one of these every week. Drop a comment with the system you want broken down next. We read every one. If this was worth your time, hit the like. It is the single biggest thing that helps the channel reach more people who care about this. Read the system, not the headline. See you next week.